Goats, goats, and goats. Look at these freaking goats. Seriously. I mean, seriously. Are you kidding me? These little mofos are so freaking cute. I want to smack them. They're so damn cute. I love these little loud mofos. So freaking cute. Just look at them. I mean, look at them. No, really. Really look at them. Oh. Oh no. Wait.
Oh, no.
Despite how insanely cute goats are, they can also be pretty creepy. But why is that? Why do we tend to view goats as sometimes insanely cute, but also really creepy, scary, terrifying, and even demonic? Why are goats seen as demonic? If you've watched horror movies, even just one, yes, just one, I'm serious, I bet you saw at least some form of a demon goat being in that movie, whether it be the demon itself, or in a spooky book, or drawn with blood on the wall, etc., etc. Goats have been associated with demons for several years, and this has sometimes come at a great cost to these poor little goats' lives, with people harming them for believing they are demonic. But why? Why? Well, goats pervade many sources of mythology, connected to spirits, both good and evil. The earliest record of goat worship appears to be pagan deity Pan in 100 BC. Pan is half man, half goat, a form of representing humanity and nature together as one. Pan is the Greek god of fields, groves, glens, and fertility, often being depicted with let's call it a Wiener Schnitzel, and is associated with spring, the season of new beginnings. Pan was worshipped in nature settings like caves and grottos, rather than your usual temples. But it was only 300 CE when the demonization of Pan had begun, and would continue to spread until Pan and the devil were hardly inseparable. The ancient Greeks, being pagans, saw Pan as being a god of nature, full of energy, joyful, known for being musical by playing his pipes, and being a little lusty. I mean, no surprise there, he does have his Wiener Schnitzel out after all. To the pagans, nudity isn't shameful. It's not something that's meant to be covered up. Back then it was normal and a display of the beauty of the human body. But when I do it, it's indecent exposure and I'm not allowed into the target anymore. Anyway, Pan was a favorite of the ancient Greeks. Despite the numerous texts on great Greek deities like Zeus, there were far more dedications to Pan than any other Greek god. And it's speculated that this may be part of what led Christian theologians at the time to demonize Pan. Sensing Pan's great growth in worship signaled competition. And if we know anything about ancient Christians of this time, they certainly did not want people favoring pagans over them. As Christianity spread across Europe, the demonization of Pan along with other pagan deities was no accident. It was deliberate corruption of paganism. Because, gosh forbid, people have freedom of religion. History has taught us one thing is certain. We just can't have nice things. There's always someone coming around to disturb the peace for their own selfish gain. A part of this demonization stems from ancient traditions. In ancient Syria, on the king's wedding day, goats were draped in silver necklaces and cast out of town. The goats were believed to carry with them any evil surrounding the day and the community. How bizarre is that? Imagine finding a goat blinged out in silver just wandering around. This idea was passed on for years and evolved into a practice written into the Hebrew Bible as a scapegoat rite, where a goat that was meant to bear the sins of the Jews during Yom Kippur would then be cast out into the wilderness for the demon Azazel. This is where the term scapegoat originates. Imagine if that goat just came back though. I wonder if that ever happened and how did the people react? Like, oh crap, my sins came back. And another aspect of the goat demon association was in biblical theology throughout Abrahamic religions. The depiction of demons and fallen angels being beast-like with horns and goat-like physical characteristics is likely borrowed from the pagan deities that were corrupted by Christian theologists at the time. It can also be argued that it would make biblical sense that a fallen angel would take on a more beast or animal-like appearance, as fallen angels were stripped of their divinity, casted out, and banished to be closer to the material realm, making them more akin to humanity, which were the beings they had refused to serve as angels and archangels. So having demons appear more like the beast of the earth is a reflection of the removed divinity, and this can be seen further in other demonic characteristics, like having bat wings to represent a flying creature of the night, where angels and archangels have feathers to represent birds, a flying creature of the day. In addition to Greek paganism, there is also a lot of practices of goat worship throughout various pagan religions. For instance, Norse paganism is rife with goats. The Norse god Thor, or known as Thor, rode a chariot driven by 2 flying goats. There's also a giant goat that eats from the world tree in Norse mythology known as Yggdrasil. The goat lactates hot mead for the souls of Vikings in Valhalla. There's also the tradition of the Yule goat, where a straw goat replica is sacrificed, representing a delivery of good tidings and gifts. Although in Finland it was used as a way to scare away evil spirits and bad luck. For the most part though, goats throughout many religious practices are not associated with dark entities. They tend to be helpers and an aid to humanity, or an aid to divine beings or divine beings themselves. But fast forward to the 1300s, and the Knights Templar were being accused of worshipping a deity known as Baphomet. But modern scholars agree this was an old French corruption of the name Muhammad, with the interpretation being that some of the Templars, through their long military occupation of the Outremer, which were the Crusader states throughout the Middle East, had begun incorporating Islamic ideas into their belief system, and this was seen and documented by the Inquisitors as heresy. In the 1600s, medieval philosophers continued to besmirch Pan and other goat deities, deeming the goat as a blasphemous and lustful creature, and even claimed that goats whisper lewd ideas into the ears of saints.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
The black goat then became a pivotal figure in the Black Mass, the satanic inversion of the Catholic Mass. Rumors of there being black masses began spreading throughout Europe, especially France. It wasn't until the 1800s that the Baphomet association as the sabbatical goat, as depicted by Eliphas Levi, would come into the mainstream and become a part of occult and esoteric practices. However, it was the misunderstanding of this image being used and abused by the ignorant and those lacking creativity to make Baphomet a symbol for the devil. The Baphomet represents an analogy for understanding the Philosopher's Stone. Its purpose of having the human and goat fusion is akin to Pan. It's meant to represent the duality of man, nature, and the universe, and all being one. But if you'd like to know more about the Baphomet in detail, please watch my video, Hidden Truth Demonic Symbols. The idea of the devil as a goat also made its way into the Christian Bible, from the parable of the sheep and the goats, recorded in Matthew 25:31-46. When Jesus separates sheep, which symbolize the saved, and goats symbolizing the damned. An artistic depiction of this parable is in the Mosaic in a 6th century Basilica in Italy. The Mosaic depicts Jesus separating the goats and sheep between 2 angels. The angel standing behind the sheep is a red angel, and the angel behind the goats depicted as a blue angel. The blue angel has been interpreted as an angel representing the fallen and the damned, much like the devil known as Lucifer, a fallen angel. So over 1,000 years later, and what began as the adapting of pagan iconography to continue the demonization of pagan deities by medieval Christians, evolved into the devil goat that we know today. But now you know the truth. Despite how creepy these cute little mofos can be, there's nothing inherently demonic about them. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.